side of the house where you're sitting?
North side.
North? Oh, then the afternoon sun is somewhere else. Then. Okay.
It's to the northwest.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Hello, folks. We're live on air, and tonight we have a Fandango Friday, a Friday Fandango, a Fandango Friday, a Friday Fandango, a Fandango Friday. All right. And this particular Fandango revolves around flavored whiskey. Yeah, that's a small bottle.
and well, a small bottle for it's a one shot show, and
right,
right.
That's the whole purpose of those bottles.
And you see, Jack Daniel's honey flavored, and this is the first time I am ever attempting to drink it. I haven't done it yet, so this would, what better way to have something for the first time than on a Louisiana fermented beverage review show.
Yes, and the tiny bottles are convenient, like a single beer is convenient, so you can try it and see if you like it. Now, a lot of these companies want you to buy the big bottle, or they want you to buy a 6-pack of beer. And that's, it's like, well, what if I don't like it? So now here, in this case,
here we go. Oh, pie hole. Oh, I like the play on words. I like the label. Cherry pie, Canadian whiskey with cherry's Jubilee. What? Cherry pie liqueur. Ooh. You got a good one there.
Now, I'll tell you the story of mine real fast.
Standing ovation, but I'm not wearing any pants, so I won't do that.
Okay. Now,
oh, it's hot.
Here's the story. Long story short. It's really a short story short. I went to a place called Super Discount Store on Louisiana Highway 47 northbound in Chalmette, Louisiana in May of 2019. I was shopping around. I saw these liter bottles. At first, I thought they were 750s. No, but it turns out they're 1 liter. I said, well, I'm not really into flavored liquor. But I saw the price tag, and it was $1.99. I said, well, even if I hate it, there's no downside to it.
I got to find that on the internet and upload it to Everything is Food Facebook group. That is a gem. That label.
Yeah, this is Sweet Cherie. There's
Sweet Cherie.
Sweet Cherie.
Clever.
CHERI. Well, I checked the website this morning, and the website is down, and it said this domain is available. So I don't know if this is still made, but they're still showing it on the other main website called thebar.com.
Well, I'm sure if I go to Google and I type in pie hole whiskey images, I'm sure I will get something.
Oh yeah. And even if you go to thebar.com, they've got a link, a section where they talk about this. It says a pioneering whiskey.
Boy, this guy's clever. I'm telling you, this marketing team is really clever. They got my sense of humor.
Yeah, it's 75. It's 75. It's 70 proof, which means 35%. Which most liqueurs are 35. Yours is probably 35%. It says pie hole whiskeys were inspired by our grandma's favorite pie recipes, served up in a delicious blend.
I don't think grandma's too much involved in this.
A delicious blend of Canadian whiskey and tempting pie-flavored liqueur. So slice off a shot and share some with your friends. You may never want to eat pie with a fork again. Signed, Scott, Jeff, and Kristen. These were the team that started it. Recipe number 265, whatever that means. Caramel colored, so it's colored with caramel.
Well, I think that deserves a dozen bells for Fandango Friday.
And I'll tell you one more thing. On the back, it says, produced in Canada and imported to Connecticut. And it says, Grandma used to say, it's perfect for your pie hole. All right. So there you
go. That sounds like Mae West. That sounds like their grandma was like Mae West, man. But now, anyway, your hair it's either slicked back like Cab Calloway, or it's the result of having a central air conditioning system that was down for a while.
No, I washed it and it was wet and I just combed it back. I didn't dry it with a towel or anything. I just
No, it
patted.
looks good. It looks good.
Yeah, I just patted it with a towel.
So does your Ming Dynasty, your Chinese Emperor goatee look pretty
right.
good.
Yes. That's going to last a little while longer until I run out of the beard balm that my daughter bought me for my birthday.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that on the shelves at not Trader Joe. It was Harmon's Face Values Beauty Supply. They had all kinds of exotic beard balms.
Okay, now I'm going to read some. Oh, beard balms, yeah. And they're made with like beeswax and other oils. Now, FACP monitoring says, Ron, where are you at? Make sure to stock up on plenty of beer from Matherns for that storm. Laplace is going to get some water backing up from the lake. Well, actually, FACP, 6 miles away is the old U.S. Highway 61. The new section is elevated now. But the water from the lake is already backing up on the highway. Uh-oh. That's 6 miles. 6 miles. I got water coming toward me. Ronnie S. says, cheers, fellas. Jeremy Vincent says, cheers, James. And Ron, great to see the show again. Not home yet, or I'd join. Any of y'all are welcome to join. Y'all are welcome to join. If you have a flavored whiskey, feel free to join. I'm going to post a link. I'll post a link on the other beer talk. Jeremy Vincent.
Even if you had flavored whiskeys in the past and have some knowledge to share,
yes.
Jump aboard the pirate ship.
Right, come aboard the pirate ship. Cheers, Ronnie says, Jeremy. And then Ronnie says, careful over there, Ron. Raining like hell here right now. It's quiet here. We keep getting bands of rain, but mostly it's been a little bit of drizzle, quite a lot of wind. If I open the window, you'd hear this tropical wind, probably about 25 miles per hour. Got a lot of branches down, but you got rotten branches on trees. What up, Jeremy, says Ronnie. Yes, I joined too, but I don't have any whiskey. I hear you. So I'm going to do that. I'll post this link just for people's general information because we're not exclusive. This is an open flow.
This is open flow, like you took a case of Metamucil, open flow. And if there are any flavored whiskey fans out there, this is my Mr. Magoo reading glasses, a dollar store. Can't beat it. If there's any fans, why not? Come aboard. Now, if you got a problem and you're going to start mentioning that I'm the bridge man or Gina Lola Brigida, then you're gonna get a little flack. But anyway, if you're going to be nice and come aboard, come aboard. Like Bob Barker used to say, come on down.
Come on down to the Fandango Friday.
Yeah, except Bob Barker was busy having affairs with all the models on the show, but that's another story. But anyway, yeah. And
I can remember before Bob Barker was on Price is Right, he was on a show I used to watch called Truth or Consequences.
I remember that show. I remember Match Game with Gene Rayburn. I remember, of course, the Dating Game with the real cool Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass songs. Yeah, I don't want to get. Anyway,
I remember Truth or Consequences. Then all of a sudden one day Bob Barker was on Price is Right, and I said, "Oh, something must have happened." And then he's permanently stayed on there until he retired. Okay, so you're going to tell us about the Jack Daniel's hunting.
Oh, you don't forget Alan Ludden and Password.
I didn't watch that.
Betty White's husband, Alan Ludden. Anyway, yeah, that was a little boring. Anyway, the other one was well, not to tell the truth. The other one was with when they guess your occupation. What's my line? That's it. That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, this one here. Okay, it says finely crafted. Of course, what else are they going to say? Honey liqueur blended with Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. Okay, so they're not pouring raw honey or straight honey into the fermentation process. They're combining honey liqueur, like you used to tell me that Paul Masson brandy is most likely blended with the Concord grape wine. I mean the port wine.
The port wine has the brandy fortifying it.
Yeah, like we're talking about Taylor, our one of our favorites.
Yeah, they use the Paul Masson to fortify it to give it strength.
Right. Now, in this case, it's honey liqueur with Jack Daniel's, which is made from something called, I believe, sour mash, as opposed to
Yeah, sour mash whiskey. They use that process.
Now, is sour mash made from corn, or is it a combination of grains?
It's mostly corn. It has to be at least 51% corn. It could be 100%, but it has to be at least 51. And they usually add barley, malt, rye, which is a spicy grain.
Okay.
They add sometimes wheat to soften it, and then they filter it through a 10-foot tall sugar maple charcoal column, and let it drip through there. It takes about 2 or 3 days to drip through.
Oh, speaking of wheat, that hard red winter wheat vodka was really fantastic. Wheatley's vodka. That was great. I tell people about it all the time.
And then the Jack Daniels is aged in a charred white oak barrel for a minimum of 4 years.
Okay, 70 proof, 35% alcohol by volume.
Yep, that's
right. Okay, now
I took a little sample of that at the distillery 2 years ago, but it was such a small amount I couldn't get a good perception.
Well, I could definitely smell the honey liqueur. That is quite lovely. I'm serious. I've had Jack Daniels before, but this is more like I guess you would call it like a sour mash or Jack Daniels liqueur. It tastes more like a liqueur than it does
yeah, it's definitely liqueur.
Yeah, than a bourbon related whiskey. It's more like a liqueur. It's more like Southern Comfort than it is any standard bourbon.
Yeah, it's a liqueur made with bourbon, or Tennessee whiskey, but that is a type of bourbon. But it's for the people that have a sweet tooth and may not really care for straight whiskey. It might be something they don't want.
Yeah, this is a good sipping beverage when you have positive, pleasant company over the house. You just want to sit and tell stories. And this is I wouldn't say it's not a mixing liquor.
No,
it's good, and no ice. It's good. I had this in the freezer. I've been doing that for the shows. I put about a half hour. I'll put this glass with the content of the little bottle in the freezer because I don't want any ice.
Now I'm looking at the website and it says, and folks, I didn't put the link. I'm sorry, but it's just jackdaniels.com. You just type in the whole word, jackdaniels.com, no apostrophe S, and a blend of Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey and a unique honey liqueur of our own making for a taste that's one of a kind and unmistakably Jack, with hints of honey. Or let's see, it says made with real honey. They blend it with Jack Daniels Old Number 7. And
Old Muck and Muck.
They give you some recipes to make a mixed drink called Tennessee Honey and Lemonade. And that's about it. So I know it's very popular. I see a lot of people buying it. The pie hole, I don't think the pie hole really caught on. I don't think it's sold around here. I did buy east of New Orleans, but I haven't seen it here west of New Orleans. I'm going to read some more comments, and then I'm going to tell you all about mine. Let's see. Did you say it's cool to join with a beer, says Ronnie. Well, of course, you could join with a beer. You might have some input on flavored whiskey. Jeremy says, come on down, laugh out loud. I love it. And Subject Zero says, you're the bridge man? I thought that was Chris Christie.
Yeah, it was Chris. Yeah, Krispy Kreme, Crisco Christie.
Zach Robinson says, Irish coffee, the original flavored whiskey. Yeah. And then
my song of Price is Right. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that was it. Well, I like
Ronnie S says, laughing out loud, Chris Christie. And then Geary Kunkel says, hello, flavored whiskey, stacks up in my basement, no more room.
Now I'm doing like vaudevillian style gestures like Tom Mulvihill does sometimes.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tom in a while. Hey, now you have an Izod shirt on, and that reminds me of a lot of different people.
Reminds me of well, all the Izods I got were gifts. I have not purchased one. They were all gifts. You can't look a gift Izod in an alligator in the mouth.
No, and the gift price is the best price. Now, this one here is the caramel color, so it'd probably be clear without it. I'm going to give you a little nose on it. Got a little bit of alcohol legs. It's cherry. It's cherry in the nose. Come on, folks. It's cherry. Now, some people might say it smells like cough medicine. I don't know, Robitussin, but it's cherry.
They say that about Jägermeister, too.
Oh, I like that stuff, but some people are repulsed by it.
It's got to be cold in order to be palatable.
Yeah, I put it in the fridge. I put it in the freezer for a couple of days. My uncle's wife, who's from Schleswig-Holstein in Germany, she said, "Oh yeah, I heard of Jägermeister. People in Germany drank that as a medicine."
It is. It's made from 800 different herbs and spices and fruits. It was invented by monks in a very old monastery in Deutschland.
She said in Germany they don't consider it really an alcoholic beverage. They consider it like a tonic if you have an upset stomach after supper or something like that.
Oh, like bitters, like when the Europeans drink various bitters.
But she said it's very well known over there. Now, the flavor here, I'm going to tell y'all very quickly. First of all, yes, there's cherry, but it's not overwhelming. So I don't think you would believe it was Vic's Formula 44D or anything like that. Although this might help with the cold. There is definitely a charcoal note. Now, why does it have a charcoal note? I do not know. But it's almost like this was filtered through charcoal. So that might appeal to people. Maybe there's wood. Now they're using Canadian whiskey. Now, what Canadian whiskey are they using? I don't know. This company.
Which one are they using?
Well, this company also produces Crown Royal, but I have a funny feeling they're not using Crown Royal for this. But maybe one of their lower-priced Canadian whiskey varieties.
Is that your first time drinking this, Mr. Cheerio?
No, I had it a few times.
So I can't do the joke about you popping the cherry.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, but for $1.99, now do I love this? I don't love flavored products necessarily, but I'm not going to have a problem drinking the whole liter. And anybody that comes to my house is welcome to try it. Although I haven't had any takers, people hear about it and they say, "Oh, my friend David tried it and he said that's cough medicine." I said, "Oh well."
Would I get an entire bottle of this? No, I'm not a big fan of flavored
whiskeys or drinks.
Whiskey. Only the craft beer. All those exotic flavors are great. But yeah, no, not hard liquor. I would. Thank God I buy the little bottles for the show.
But for a little nip, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure in the winter, something like this would go down better. For those that experience winter, Jay is in the subtropics, I think.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, last winter, the winter of 2018, 2019, we got down to 31 degrees for 2 hours one night.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Hey.
Even Florida had a cold spell where the citrus fruits got frost that one year, remember?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's so common here to have 80-degree days in December. We had that 31-degree night, and then I don't know, it's like I could feel it. I said, "Oh, I think it's going to start warming up." And in January, around January 10th, it started warming up. And then it got very warm in February. Then in March, it got cool again. Then in April, it was off to. Now, here is daytime. This is like Brezhnev and Nixon. And I don't know who wants to be Brezhnev or Nixon. But hello, welcome, Ronnie.
Can it be Mao Tits Tongue? No, that's not how you Mao Zedong, right?
Right, Mao Zedong. So Ronnie is down in Florida now. So welcome, Ronnie.
Thank you. No whiskey here. I just got a beer.
Yeah, that's okay. Now, one last comment on this cherry liqueur. You see the little tiny glass I have. You see, I poured about what 50% of the glass. That's a perfect amount. If you drank too much of this, you would be very ill. And don't even imagine what would happen if you got drunk off of it. Well, you'd be spending a lot of time bent over. And the next day, you'd spend a lot of time feeling terrible. But this is not designed for that. This is not designed for that. That is not the company's fault if you're irresponsible. Okay, what, Ronnie?
What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking a pioneering whiskey called Pie Hole Cherry.
I love it when he shows it. Yes. I gotta find.
You can put this in your pie hole, says Sweet Cherie.
Sweet Cherie is going on the Everything is Food photo album. Very
okay.
sure.
Okay, and there's an apple pie hole, and then there's a oh, what's the third flavor? There's 3 flavors. I think
pie in your eye, pie.
No, I think it's
pie in the sky.
Pie in the sky. Make a hole and.
I think it's rhubarb. I think it's rhubarb.
Really? What? Rhubarb flavoring in whiskey?
Yeah, like rhubarb pie.
Yeah, I like rhubarb actually, but I don't know what kind. It's kind of tart, right? I don't know what type of flavor would lend to whiskey, but
yeah. But this is just regular old cherry, so it's fine. You know. Now, Ronnie, what do you have tonight down there in the great state of Florida, which became the state in 1845?
I got a local St. Petersburg IPA.
Oh, look at it.
Mini Twist IPA.
Mini Twist.
I've had that one.
It's the Three Daughters Brewing out of St. Petersburg.
Oh yes, I've tried that delicious pale ale.
It's by Clearwater.
It's pretty bitter. Got 82 IBUs, 7% alcohol.
82. That's a good number.
Yeah,
but it's bad if it's a bad number if you don't like bitterness.
Bitterness is all right here and there.
You got it at Trader Joe's? No.
No, I got it at 7-Eleven actually.
Ah, now let's see the comments. Crown
Royal. How's the background noise? Is it okay here?
Oh yeah, it's very, very quiet. Bart Robinson says Crown Royal Vanilla right here. I'm surprised, but I like it. Well, Bart, you see, Bart, you talk to us about doing hangouts. This is your chance. So I'm gonna go get a regular Canadian whiskey now, just as a counterpoint. You two guys can talk for a moment while y'all can commiserate while I go get the Canadian product.
Commiserating.
I gotta look that up. That's a word, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, Clearwater, Sarasota is probably an hour south of you. Clearwater is over there.
Probably. You ever been to Clearwater?
No, my sister just got back from Anna Maria Island, which is sort of between, I guess, where you are and
Anna Maria Island. That's on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, it's on the Gulf Coast.
I never heard of that.
So you're probably like west of Orlando.
Yeah.
And then if you
west go and like 2 hours south, I think.
Right, and if you go straight across, you'll probably hit Daytona. If you go onto the East Coast, just straight east.
Yeah.
But that's a popular part of Florida, that area. Then the other place it got expensive, Marco Island, all the way down the Gulf. Marco Island, Naples.
Naples is like a wealthy area.
Yeah, the only thing is you got them sand fleas. Even on the east side, there's sand fleas at night.
There's different bugs down here, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, you were talking about those bugs, I think, last night or the night before. All those bugs.
No-see-ums, they call them down there. They're sand fleas.
Now here's a whiskey that could be used in Pie Hole. It's a good choice. This is no longer produced. It's no longer produced. It went out of production in 2017, but it's called Seagram's VO Gold. And as you can see, it's aged 8 years. So, but there's an enormous backstock of it, so it might be on the market for years to come because, you know, aging at 8 years, if they would have discontinued it in 2017, that means it can still go on to what, 25. So I'll pour a little of it and see how it counts.
So, Ron, Florida became a state in 1844?
45, yeah.
45. Do you know when Clearwater became a city?
No. I just know that the water down in that town is very clear.
I think it's 1915.
Okay, 1915, the year the Lusitania was sunk.
Some parts of Florida, the tap water smells like sulfur, like rotten eggs.
Yeah, same in Louisiana, but not in this part. You know, interestingly, the part of Louisiana I've been to where they have that sulfur-smelling water is the Florida parishes. Many people are not aware.
Oh, West Florida?
Yeah, that's right. Many people are not aware that a good part of Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama were at one time part of Florida.
They were called West Florida, right?
There were two. Yeah, Florida used to be two. It was kind of like North and South Carolina and North and South Dakota.
Yeah.
There used to be two Floridas, East and West Florida. It would have been interesting if that would have been made into two states, huh?
Yeah.
Just reminded me of the old South Park episode where Colorado became West Jersey.
Really?
For those South Park people, fans like myself, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch that.
Yeah, well, it became much more complex than the first couple seasons. It's like who can we offend next?
Right, yeah, kind of lost its momentum. Well, you know. Hey, Jean-Pierre says at an event, a boring event. Wished I was on with you guys, but the place is serving beer, Coors Light only. ... And then he's got a guy throwing up his hands and he's clinking mugs. Well, you know, Coors Light, it could be worse, Jean-Pierre. Just think if they were serving Rockdale Light. You'd really be depressed.
What the hell is that?
Rockdale.
It's a thankfully discontinued product that was sold as a Walmart brand. Sort of like, think along the lines of Great Value beer.
The worst beer I ever had was Polar from Venezuela. It was like seltzer. It was so watered down, like it's horrible. It made Modelo taste like the strongest stout or porter. That's how weak it was. But
what year was that?
No, I had it when I was in Margarita Island, which is owned by Venezuela. That was in the early 1990s, and before Hugo Chavez.
Yeah, so imagine what it would be like now.
yeah, man.
Yeah, but they had two great rums. One was called Pampero, and the other one was Cacique. It had a Native American image on it, and they were really good.
The Seagram's VO Gold is so infused with the cherry the cherry sugar that was residual in the glass that it's hard to get a bearing on it. It's well. Now that I've switched it around, I'm getting some very pale, no, not pale, what do you call it? Uncharred wood, just like wood, wood, furniture, unvarnished, oak, and a little mild whiskey. It's strange because after you drink that intense flavor of the pie hole, then you get this very washed out flavor from the Seagram's VO Gold, but that's only to be expected because it's not a flavored product, and this is not a liqueur. This is a 80 proof, 8-year age Canadian whiskey, and we got the Whiskey Scout, and Whiskey Scout, he knows that most Canadian whiskeys are probably about 80% filler whiskey. I guess you call it grain alcohol, and the flavor is going to come from that 20% topside, rye wine and barley high wine and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the 9% additives plus the other 18 or so % whiskey. Then you got like 80% left of mostly grain. That's on the less expensive ones now. So what are you guys drinking exactly? I was late to this game.
Any flavored whiskey. And now Ronnie is in observer status with beer. And you have Bird Dog. Bird Dog. Yes, I'm very familiar with that.
It's the apple flavored. So I don't have many flavored whiskeys. I actually had to go searching through my minis to find this. So.
Well,
You
Robert,
can't have a whiskey review without the Whiskey Scout.
right. You're right. We have the Whiskey Scout from Kansas, James P. Madonna. And
Yeah,
James,
I remember him. I met him online.
okay. I can tell you about things from history, but I'm absent-minded about current and relevant things. So I'm sorry about that.
Current and relevant things.
Right. If it has a practical application, I can't help you. But if it's some trivial bit of history, then I'm all on it.
That's like going on Jeopardy. Put all that knowledge to work.
Right. Like I could tell you, well, do you know at one time in 1979, there was a country called Zimbabwe, Rhodesia. I'm sorry, Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. No, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia.
Right. Or Burma. Myanmar used to be Burma. Right?
Myanmar?
Yeah, Myanmar. Well,
Myanmar.
That's an interesting story because the people that lived there in the country, when the British went there, when the British took it over, they said, "Oh boy, what is the name of your country?" And they said, "Mama." And they said, "By golly, that's a strange name for a country. How do you say it again?" And they said, "Mama." And they said, "I'll write this down as Burma. Burma it is. Burma it is." So it became known as Burma. Now, later on, the people in Burma, the Burmese said, "Our country's not pronounced Burma. That's a British misapplication of our name. Our country's not Burma. It's Myanmar." And so they said, okay, kind of like Cambodia. The French say, "Oh, Campuche, Campuche," and the Americans say Cambodia.
And Sri Lanka is the island of Ceylon. It used to be Ceylon.
Ceylon. But the funny thing about Cambodia, or as the French say, Campuche, is that the way the people pronounce it in the country itself is Kampuchea.
Didn't the French call Japan Nippon, Nippon?
Well, I think that's what they call their own country, Nippon. Okay, Nippon.
Yeah,
Kampuchea.
yeah.
And
Taiwan was the island of Formosa.
the Portuguese called it Formosa, which meant pretty island. Pretty. Formosa, pretty.
I like that name better.
Formosa, pretty. And the Chinese say it's not Formosa, it's Taiwan. All right, now.
It's Formosa, it's a Taiwan.
Right, Taiwan.
Jiu-jitsu.
Like, I heard a guy one time say, "Japan here, China here, Okinawa here." Now,
Sounds
anyway,
like my friend Brian, how he gives me directions. He goes, "Just take the service road," and he goes like this was like a snake. I go, "Does it say service road, Brian?"
so yeah, so I got in a very big conundrum in 2006 in Los Angeles after I got directions. So it was so comical, except for having to almost walk through a canyon. That really wasn't too comical. But anyway, so Robert, the whiskey.
It froze.
Okay.
Wax on, wax off.
So what do you got there, Robert? Oh, the Bird Dog.
Bird Dog apple flavored whiskey. It's 80 proof. Smells stronger with the apple than it does with the flavor. When you first opened it and I poured it, it's like almost really more of a green apple the way it comes across. It's caramel added. I can't tell you a whole bunch about it other than it was bottled for Western Spirits by Three Springs Bottling Company, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
You like it?
I have had in the past Bird Dog, the regular bourbon whiskey they make, and it was okay, but this is different. It tastes like apples. It's got that sugary fake apple flavor.
Is it sweet?
Yes, it is sweet.
It seems to me like these flavored whiskeys are all like sweet tasting. It's not
Yes.
something I would really be into.
Yeah, I think if you drink too much, you get a heck of a hangover and a headache.
Right.
I need to go get my cord to plug my phone in. It's telling me it's 20%. I'll be right back.
All right, man.
Yeah, Jack Daniels with honey liqueur.
Oh, Ron just left.
Yeah, it's a good thing that the liquor store in this new area I'm living in has a vast amount of small bottles. And they also have a vast amount of variety of everything, but they have a lot of small bottles, which is ideal for these shows.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it's good. I mean, you know, I wouldn't get a big bottle of it because it's a little sweet for me, but, you know.
I was just in the 7-Eleven over here, and they had a few of those little bottles of liquor. And I know in New York, 7-Elevens aren't allowed to sell liquor or wine. Just
Really? New York City cannot, no convenience store can sell hard
they
liquor?
can't sell liquor. No, and for liquor, you got to buy it in a liquor store.
And then if you go down in the deep south or Mexico, the Walmarts have humongous liquor departments. Big, huge.
Yeah, I know Jay talks about that. I went to a Walmart here. I didn't see liquor. I saw beer, and I think wine.
Yeah, well, it's good to have a lot of small bottles because then people can sample things and
Yeah, definitely.
you know.
They're only like $2 or something, right?
Yeah, they're cheap, and it's good to have many individual bottles and cans of craft beers and porters, so people can try them. And the manager over here agrees with me. But anytime back home that I used to talk to the managers, these Indian guys, they would give me an argument. They would say, "Oh, it won't sell."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, if you don't have the samples, how can
people can't try it?"
Yeah, people request.
You're still in Jersey?
Yeah, I'm still in Jersey. I'm just 25 minutes east of where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
But
in New Jersey, they the liquor stores sell beer also.
Yeah, no, the liquor stores have plenty of everything that's has alcohol in it. It's just that you know, like I said, you know, the Walmarts won't have a liquor department, and we have this old law in Bergen County where retail or liquor they really can't sell on Sundays. But as soon as you leave the county, you can do retail shopping and you know.
Every county is different, right?
Yeah. I'm not far from the GW Bridge, and no pun intended. And I'm near Hudson County. I'm by Fort Lee. I'm next to Fort Lee.
So you're closer to New York now.
Yeah, I'm in Edgewater. I'm like if I look straight across, if I go down the street and I look straight across, I'm staring at Columbia University and Grant's Tomb. If I look to the right, I see Manhattan. If I look to the left, I see the GW. That's pretty much where, and then I see all the boats going back and forth, sailboats, yachts, fishing boats.
That's cool, man. That's cool in the summertime.
Y'all, sorry, we had a little power outage. That's a harbinger.
Really? How is the weather going now?
I mean, I'm looking at blue skies off and on, and I'm seeing, blue.
Hey, Ron, let me show you this. It's fucking pouring here.
I see trees growing, and now they're saying that the lake is coming over the highway. I don't know. I got a bad feeling because
look at this.
I was laying on the couch and electricity died for just a moment, and I thought, uh-oh. And just now, it went boom. And I said, what happened to the hangout? And then I realized, uh-oh. And so I don't know. It's getting a little dicey now.
It is, man.
So, Robert, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to insult you, but I can't control the electricity. What did you say about that product?
It's dominantly apple on the nose. You really don't get anything but apple. There may be a faint bit of spice in there, but it's 90% apple, 10% spice.
Do you notice that these flavored whiskeys are hitting the stores left and right these days?
Yeah, they've been doing it for around here anyway for about 1.5 years, 2 years now. Bird Dog and Crown Royal. Then we got something called Old Smoky, I think it is, but it's not the moonshine. But the moonshines come in flavored too, and I think that's kind of where they got the idea, was it's kind of following along with what moonshine was doing with the apple pie and cherry bounce and all the different flavors.
Isn't moonshine illegal?
No,
you can buy legal moonshine in the liquor stores.
Yeah, Midnight Moon is the only brand I've tried.
I thought it was illegal because it was too much alcohol.
No, it's no. It's illegal because they don't tax it. It has nothing to do with alcohol, because you can get Everclear, which runs 180 proof. I mean,
I used to have a next door neighbor when I was growing up, a Portuguese guy that made moonshine in his garage. He would sell it to the neighbors.
Yeah. But anyway,
how do you score? We're going to give our scores, but how would you score that, Robert?
I can't score this. Honestly, I can tell you whether I would drink it again or not. This is not something I feel comfortable scoring, because it's not something that I have on a regular basis. But
it'd be like me trying to evaluate tennis.
So, yeah, me too, actually.
Me three.
But this is how I put it. If you like apple flavored, a strong, almost green apple flavor, whiskey, you would like this. But it's very sweet. It's extremely sweet, to the point it's overbearing with the sweetness. Yeah. And I don't think it'd take long to get a headache if you drank too much of this. And I think if you really drank too much, you would not have a fun morning the next morning.
Oh yeah, I was saying that before you joined. I said if somebody drank too much of this pie hole, it would be a very bad next day.
Yes, this is the same thing. It's only 40% or 40% or 80 proof. So, but
yeah, we only have 70 proof products. I'm going to give mine a score, honestly. This is not, look, I want to tell the audience, this is not something I would buy on purpose, okay? I only bought it because this 1 liter, I repeat, 1 liter bottle was $1.99.
Oh,
which in my opinion was total upside.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Can't complain about that.
Even if I hated it, what's the difference? I mean, $1.99. I mean, so I bought it, and I don't hate it. Actually, I wouldn't buy it on purpose, but I don't hate it. It does taste like cherry concoction product. I don't know what Canadian whiskey they're using. I'd be curious to find out. I never will be able to find out. It's from Diageo's, so they're probably using, they're not using Crown Royal.
No.
This is one of their probably something. Who knows? They have a whole array of cheaper ones that they produce. Might be Seagram's 83.
Well, a lot, and it goes back to what we talked about before when I think you was at Barton or something, and they go, well, what do they do with the barrels that don't taste so good? Well, this is a prime example. Add 20% of the barrels that don't taste good, mix in 80% neutral grain spirits, and flavor it up with apple, and you got apple whiskey.
They do not dump it out.
No.
You guys hear about that Jim Beam fire?
Yeah.
45,000
barrels was lost.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man.
A lot of money. I hope they had good insurance.
Oh, I think over the years, as much whiskey as they sold, I think that was just a blip for them. I don't really think that's going to do anything, but in 4 years, impact what they're able to produce at the white label level. They're not. They'll probably see in 4 years from now. You'll see probably maybe 5 to 10% less production on the white label. It is still not going to be enough to
have an impact
that we'll notice at our level.
It won't be. It won't. What you're saying will not be an appreciable effect.
Right.
Now, kind of like with the Barton collapse last year.
The what?
Barton's just had a warehouse collapse.
And that was spooky because the year before I was in a warehouse over there in that same facility, and the lady was like, "You see that plumb line?" She said, "You want that plumb line to be over that circle at all times." She said, and it was just like that. She said, because if you come in the barrel house, the rick house they call it, and the plumb line is doing this or doing this, she said you have to immediately run out of the house, because she said that means it's starting to sag.
Yeah.
And she said once it gains momentum, there is no way they're going to stop it.
Yeah. I
22,000 barrels in there. What now?
Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, if you ever go down to Lynchburg and you drive through that valley, you can see where rick house after rick house after rick house after. I mean, I don't know. There's so many rick houses. It's just amazing. But
What is
George
a rick house?
Dickel and Four Roses don't use the multi-storied rick houses like most of the distillers. Barton, Jim.
A rick house is a barrel warehouse.
Yeah, it holds multiple levels of barrels. Some of them I think are 4 to 5 stories high on the, or if not higher. What?
8 stories at Barton.
Yeah, I just seen Jack Daniels. I was just going on theirs, and what I seen of the Barton collapse. I do remember looking in there. I didn't count the stories, but anyway, you don't see that. You hear about that in the States, but in Scotland, for instance, you really don't hear about that because all their rick houses are, for the most part, 1 story, maybe 8 to 12 barrels high.
Well,
So
how
you're
about?
not? Yeah, you don't have all that weight upon weight upon weight, And again, George Dickel does the same way, and Four Roses. I forget how many barrels high theirs are. I really can't remember. You can look on a diagram and find out.
Yeah, I'm saying 8 stories. I could be wrong, but it was huge, and I think I'm correct, but I could check. But it was amazing. And one house, she said, "This is a small one. It only holds 22,000 barrels." I said, "Only." And most of those in that house, she said, were Paul Masson brandy that they age under contract. Well, I'm going to give it a score right now. I have to be fair with this because I can't say, well, I don't like it personally because I don't like flavored products, so it's a bad product. That's a crazy way to review. I think a lot of people that like cherry flavored liqueurs would love it, and I think it deserves probably an A- and maybe higher. Yeah, I'm not going to have a problem. I like the smoky quality. I don't know where that smokiness comes from. That's the most intriguing thing about it. So I would recommend it, and especially if you can get a liter bottle for $1.99. Yeah, probably
that's a deal.
That's probably something to jump on. So James P. Madonna, how would you rate that Jack Daniels one-time thing you said? One-time thing.
Well, as flavored whiskeys go, I'll give it a 90. Only as flavored whiskeys go. That it's I wouldn't get it again because it's sweet, but it's pleasant if you're having a small amount like I just did. So I'll give it a 90, but not in the whiskey world rating in the flavored.
Right, that's the only way you can do it, really. Because
so all 3 of you guys said that you wouldn't buy it again.
No.
Well, that's not saying very much for flavored whiskey.
Well,
not our jam. It's not our jam. It's like some people want to listen to dubstep music, but I wouldn't listen to it. But if they like it, they can listen to a 6-hour show.
Right. Yeah, I don't like amaretto or
flavored
Sambuca only with espresso coffee. Yeah, but not like But other than that, I'm not a liqueur fan.
Yeah,
you like Baileys?
It's no knock against the product. What?
You like Baileys?
Oh yeah. I like and Kahlua in coffee ice cream, Kahlua milkshake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he said bay leaves.
Yeah, no, Bailey's Irish cream. Yeah. No, I like that.
No, I thought he said bay leaves. Like if you
Bailey. Like bay rum or in a spaghetti sauce, bay leaf?
Yeah, bay leaves. I said, yeah, I was about to say gumbo.
No, I like, what was that?
I like gumbo.
Bailey's is good real cold, like a Kahlua in milk.
Yeah, yeah. My daughter likes those Irish cream things. Well, Robert, do you have any last words? Because I think we could lose electricity any time, you know.
Okay. Well, it's I think because it's 40% and over, that's where it becomes a flavored whiskey and not a liqueur. But
Right.
it does make more sense if it was along the liqueur lines. And I'll go ahead and give it a score, and I'll be fair to it because I remember we're blurring the lines here between an apple liqueur and a apple flavored whiskey.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I can't remember what it was in Germany. We used to drink it all the time, but it was like a 35% apple flavored liqueur. It was very common. We called it apple core. That's what we called it.
Schnapps, right? It's the type
Yeah,
of
it was a schnapps basically, and I really enjoyed that. But it wasn't. I don't remember it being quite as sharp flavored as this, or quite as almost fake flavoring as this has in it. Mm-hmm. I give it an 80 based on that for comparison. And
okay.
I'm basing, that for comparison. So that would be a B minus.
B minus. Okay.
Yeah. And would I buy it again? Of course. No, that's why I bought the little one, just to try it. The only flavored whiskey that I've honestly ever repurchased is Wild Turkey, the honey, not the sting, but just the regular honey. And I'd like that because actually when I got a cold or something, it really seems to help with my cough. And I can drink it straight. Don't want to drink a lot of it. Again, Headacheville if you do. But I do like that flavor profile it brings.
Yes.
That's my 2 cents.
Okay. I think that's a fair score. Definitely a fair score. And James, what did you score yours? I don't recall a number, but I'm absolutely.
I gave it a 90 out of 100.
Oh yeah, A minus. Okay.
For flavored,
right?
Or like sweet whiskey. Yeah. I just thought about peppermint schnapps for a second. That and blackberry are the only ones I ever had. But anyway, I gave it a 90%.
Okay, now here's a few more comments, and I'm gonna get off the air because, like I say, I don't want to push my luck. Favorite bourbon says 222 Patton B. I don't have a favorite bourbon because I don't have enough experience with bourbon, but other people might have a favorite. Bart Robinson says Basil Hayden is my favorite. They have a new one out with rye and maple. Ooh. Okay, see another flavor one. Now, Megan Lockhart says, what do you think of Fireball? I've never had Fireball. I know it's made with Canadian whiskey. I have a friend, I went to high school with her, and she loves Fireball. That's her thing. Fireball is one of the most popular alcoholic products.
Fireball is very popular.
Yeah, I like Hot Damn better.
I'm
surprised you haven't tried it, Ron.
I just haven't, because I haven't really had an interest in flavored things. But Fireball is owned by a company in New Orleans, a family-owned company, I might add.
Really?
Yep. Patton B says, I enjoy a rye bourbon. What do we think of Bullet bourbon, my favorite rye? Well, my friend David, he does not like it, Bullet rye, but other people do apparently. I've never had it, I don't believe. No, I did have a little sip of it.
Doesn't Heaven Hill make one? Doesn't Heaven Hill make a rye?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do, yes. Yeah. Heaven Hill makes rye, yeah.
Old Overholt, I think, is a Heaven Hill.
Beam Suntory.
No, not Old Overholt. Rittenhouse rye, I think is.
Yeah, Rittenhouse rye.
Yeah. Heaven Hill.
And maybe also, what's that one I saw at Mathern's the other day? It used to come from Maryland. It was from Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore at one time was like the rye capital of America for rye whiskey. It was called. I'll never think of it till I get off the air. It was
the rye capital of America.
Pikesville rye. Yeah, Pikesville rye. Yeah, Pikesville.
Yeah, it's Heaven Hill Distillery. I got it right here. Heaven Hill Distillery, Louisville, Kentucky, DSPKY1, Bardstown, Kentucky, DSPKY31. They list it like that because of Heaven Hill's fire a few years ago. And I can't exactly remember because I think they had to end up doing something with the blends.
Another fire? Oh,
Well, they had a fire back in the 90s. Heaven Hill did.
Oh yeah, it was very bad too.
Yeah.
This alcohol is very flammable, I guess.
Very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was some cereal bourbon.
Now Bart Robinson says bullet is or bullet. I say bullet. Boulier, probably Boulier. Probably in French, it's probably Boulier. Bart Robinson says Boulier is quite decent. Also, haven't had it in a long time. 222P says much better than Woodford, in my opinion. Oh. Bart, you can really get some people angry talking about whiskey now. Bart Robinson says, I don't care much for Fireball, but it's very popular around here. I've never tried it, but I guess it would be on my to try list. So we've got 7 people watching. We got 5 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down? Come on.
Wow. That's some bored people there.
Well, if they hate it, if they hate watching it, they wanted to put a thumbs down.
Yeah.
But they watched it. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, Ron, is it true that a thumbs up, thumbs down means the same thing pretty much for YouTube purposes?
Well, it just means that the person watched it and they made a vote on it.
Yeah, it usually counts towards your total views. Either
Yeah.
way.
Part of the. Well,
So
it'd be
like when YouTube does the tallies, they don't care if it's an up or down. They just see that
Well, no.
somebody
Well, they-
participated in it.
Right. They tally a total, then they tally each way. I don't really think. Go ahead, Ron.
No, see, I don't know how those things work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they made it tough to get paid though. Pay per click, your volume.
Yeah,
Yes.
the payout changed because of some issues, but
Tougher, they made it.
it's an option that they're thinking about getting rid of.
Yeah, I heard you saying that a little while ago.
Read some article that said because a lot of their creators that get stressed out about it, and they were saying, why are these people doing this to me? You know, they're putting thumbs down, and then YouTube was telling them, don't worry about it, forget about it. And they were saying, no, I can't stand it. I'm getting depressed. I'm going to quit doing videos.
That's life. Suck it up, man.
So they didn't know what to do. And then they were talking about, they were trying to figure out, I read this long article. They were trying to figure out, they said they know that there are people that game it. Like they'll get their friends together and say, let's all get together. And they call it brigade downvoting.
Yeah, they call it rating, I think.
So they are tracking people that just, they'll do that. They will watch like 10 seconds of a video and just vote down, and then they keep, or they'll have multiple accounts, you know, like 20 accounts. Can you make as many? And they'll just go bam, bam, bam. And so they're saying, well, one of the guys they were interviewing said, we're considering we might just get rid of the option. Like you can't vote.
What's up,
What's
Alex?
up, Ron? I just
Started
come in
hearing
to say hello to everybody.
about it. Huh? What?
I just came in to say hello to everybody.
Oh, hey,
Alex,
Al.
do you have a flavored whiskey?
No, I'm not drinking any whiskey. No, I drink a couple beers.
Just to let y'all know, since Alex is on here, let you know for lunch today I had the bourbon chicken from Churches.
Now
Churches.
you're making me hungry.
Churches.
Have you heard of the KFC has the Cheetos inside the
I've
chicken
heard of
sandwich
that.
now?
Oh yeah.
No, I had the bourbon pepper chicken. It's like chicken with a bourbon sauce and black pepper, and it's baked. It's not fried, and it's a half a chicken. They take a chicken, cut it in half, and you get some rice, some Creole rice, whatever they call it, dirty rice, whatever you call it, and then a honey butter biscuit. It was fine. Is it worth $5? I don't know. It looked like they used a very tiny chicken.
I had Royal Hibachi buffet today, $12 with tons of sushi, seafood, and barbecue. So
Is that
Yeah,
all
I know
you can eat place, James?
that's
That's James P. Madonna. My name is Alex.
Are you the man from Ohio or the?
No, from New
New Jersey.
Jersey. From New
Hey,
Jersey.
he's from your state, man.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, this buffet's on Route 46 West in Saddlebrook. It's a good value.
Do you know what that is, Alex?
No, well, because he's near New York, I think, or close to New York.
Well, I'm from Lodi, but now I'm in Edgewater.
Oh,
And Alex is in southern New Jersey, more close to the Pine, the sand.
Garens, Little Lake Harbor, and all those towns down there.
I just been wanting to meet you, James. That's all, and I came
Oh,
on here.
well, thank you. Wow, if it's yeah, that's nice of you. Yeah, so I know my brother lives in Brick, New Jersey, Ocean County. He's down south.
Oh, so he's South Jersey too. Nice.
Yeah, he's from he lives not far from Point Pleasant Beach, and north of Sleeside Heights. You know, the infamous Seaside Heights.
Seaside Heights.
You know that show that.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Hey James, you're missing something. I don't see that thing that's normally next to you.
Oh yeah, the little face, right?
Yeah, what happened to that, buddy?
I accidentally sat on it.
Oh man.
I also accidentally sat on my king's crown, and it went crunch in the car. It was in a bag.
Really?
So I did a little eulogy for it. And,
No, because
So we won't talk about that anymore.
I just watched a couple of videos, James, and I used to see that behind your.
yeah, that was the Guy Fawkes mask from, originally from that movie, V for Vendetta. But all good things come to an end.
I've seen them around. I'm sure you can probably pick up another one somewhere.
Yeah, James, you probably can get another one. Buddy.
Maybe I could get a real heavy duty like plastic or polymer one that won't go crunch. Yeah, or something of that nature, or maybe I can hang many things.
Of course.
Now hold on a second. Now we're about to close out. FACP monitoring says, Ron, I picked up a can of Russian Standard Moscow Mule in a can today at Mathern's. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll try it during that storm. Would be nice for you to give it a review in the future. I was thinking about it, but if for $3.99, I was a little reluctant. Now FACP, you must live in Louisiana. You should connect to me on Alcohol Eggs on Facebook. All of you guys should connect to me on Alcohol Eggs on Facebook.
That's the number one portal. The number one portal.
Are you on that, James?
No, because I don't have enough expertise to keep up.
He's a member. He was a member.
I used to. I don't know. Same thing with the rock and roll one. I think I'm still a member. That was cool, even though you could only post 2 music videos per day.
That was to keep the spammers away,
And somebody posted a dozen, and they just kept on going on, and you had to.
Well, I'm gonna sign off. I just want to meet James. I just want to talk to you guys, see how you guys are doing. That's all.
Okay.
See you later, Alex.
James,
we're about to shut it down anyway.
You want to take a photo from the first Fandango Friday? Hold on. Ready? Ready? Click.
No. Oh, you got your sword out.
I have some live streams, by the way.
You should hang that in the back of me.
James, if you want to see my channel, I have some live streams. I don't have videos up yet, but I have some live streams up if you want to take a look at it.
Go to Progressive Discussion. You have a YouTube channel? Yeah, send me a message.
All right, man.
All right. Have a good
nice meeting you. I'll talk to you guys.
All right, Alex. See you later, man.
Bye.
Yeah, so we have Alcohol Eggs, which is for people that are interested in alcoholic beverages. And
what is this rock and roll one?
A lot of Louisiana people could meet us there. Then I have another group. I only have 2 groups. The other group is called Rock and Roll Club. And I say in my group description, this is a group that should be interesting to people what did I say? People that enjoy rock and roll should like this group. They might enjoy the group.
I like rock and roll.
So we talk about, well, as you would guess, rock and roll music. Now I had to put some limits on it because you get people that are either insane or are spammers. They all they do is they cruise around on social media looking to spam a website. So, they're not interested in other people's music. They're not going to listen to your songs. They don't care.
Yeah. They're just screwing around.
They don't make applicable posts applicable to your group. That's another issue.
Right. They only care about their stuff. So you got to watch those people. And then you got some that are like sort of like manic depressive, like, so when they're in their mania stage.
Yeah. Well,
like,
music can get like that.
Huh?
Music can bring that out of people sometimes.
Right. So they'll get like on this run. They're rushing on a run, you know, and they're like, oh, and they'll say, and I'll wake up the next day and I'll like, who posted 24 Velvet Underground songs? And they're saying, it's great, man, it's great. I'm like, uh-oh, somebody was dealing with some chemicals last night.
That's like the heat I got on Twitter because I made a comment about the women's soccer team that won in Europe. The media is making a big deal about them. It's getting nauseating. And I made a comment.
Well, it is pretty cool.
Right, but wait, get back to Rock and Roll Club. What I had to do on Rock and Roll Club, I had to say, now hold on. You can post 2 songs a day. Because if people don't have unlimited time, well, maybe some people do. But, you know, try to show some consideration. 2 songs a day is 365 days a year. That's 2 times a day. And I make a concerted effort to listen to every single song posted in that group.
Wow.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And believe me, there's some ugly.
Is it 2 songs a day for the whole group or for each user?
For each person. That's a good deal, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, like today, I posted 2 George Harrison songs from his 1970 album, All Things Must Pass. Fine. Now, I don't say, I demand you listen to these songs. No, but I do. I run the group. I created the group, so I listen to everybody's stuff. Now, I mean, if it's a song from an album I own, I'm not going to listen to it again. Like somebody posted something from Van Halen's first album. Well, I've heard that album so many times, I'm not going to say, oh, well, let me go listen to this song again. Well, I mean, I know the song. I know every note. But you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't let troublemakers in the group. Like, you know, you get these troublemakers, they'll say, oh, I hate that band. Well, you didn't even have to comment. This person loves ABBA, all right? And maybe they love ABBA, and they posted Dancing Queen. You could have just kept scrolling. You didn't have to attack them. But you're doing...
So, sorry to cut you off. So if you put up ABBA, let's say, is that considered rock and roll? Is that like disco? Like, what restrictions do you put on it?
ABBA is really like European music, but it has its roots in rock and roll at least. Now, you got some people that are just intentionally, either they're very stupid or they're intentionally trying to make trouble because they'll post a country song. That's not crossover, not country crossover, just pure country. And I'm
Johnny
like, oh,
Cash.
really? Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, I thought they know what they're doing. This is Rock and Roll Club. I would not join R&B Club and post Metallica. All right?
Yeah. That would be funny.
You ever have anybody post like a rap song?
Yikes. You get some questionable stuff, and then you get hostile people, and then they'll say, you don't like reggae music. I said, no.
That's not the club, though. That's not what it is.
It's Rock and Roll Club. If I had a group called Cream Cheese Exploration, it was all about the uses of cream cheese in cooking, and then somebody said, check out all these salsas. I would say, well, how is it related to cream cheese? Well, it's not, damn it. What do you have, a problem with salsa? You know, that's
like music or new wave or, you know, anything or disco.
Right.
Not
these
rock.
They know what rock and roll is, but you have sick people that are sick, you know, and you try and you can't deal with them, and you send them a private message and say, I noticed you posted 37 songs yesterday. Well, you know, and I try to encourage them, read the group description, and but you got some people that are hostile, you know, but
this sounds like a way cooler Facebook group than the Alcoholics.
I had a huge fight with Red Rooster over Velveeta and Cheese Whiz.
That's an amazing story on its own. No, rock and roll. Wait a minute, you don't like Alcoholics?
Well, it sounds like this one that has more going on, like more interaction. You got videos up there. That's cool. Alcoholics is just photos.
What your angle is. It depends on what you're. So Alcoholics, they're all into posting what they're drinking and talking about.
Yeah, that's cool. But it's just pictures.
Nice. It's just pictures. It's nice, and videos that I post. And then some of the other guys post videos too. But Rock and Roll Club is, well, rock and roll. And we post photos, but I tell them no birthdays because then it's just like Facebook. Like they'll post stuff like, "Happy birthday, Elvis." I'm like, well, Elvis Presley died
he is the king of rock and roll.
Right, but why are you wishing him happy birthday? That's what people do on regular Facebook. Like, inspiration. I said, don't do inspirational stuff. Nobody wants to see that.
He's taking the big dirt sleep.
Just do the music. If you have a news report, now they'll say, oh, Mick Jagger had heart trouble. That's a news report. That's good. All right, but let's get off of that because this is supposed to be about flavor whiskey, and then it starts deteriorating into other sidelines.
I'll tell you, Ron, I'd like to join that, man.
If you apply to join, if I wake up tomorrow and see you applied, I'll add you.
What is it called?
Rock and Roll Club.
Okay.
Simple. I posted George Harrison yesterday. I got 2 Rush songs tomorrow. And I posted David Bowie on Wednesday. And, rock and roll.
Now, what about somebody like, say, Eric, for example, who's in his own band? Do you let people put stuff up like that, local band stuff?
Occasionally. It's rare.
Okay.
Occasionally. It depends. You can tell the spammers from the serious people, it's just too obvious,
Yeah.
But I'm not a hard case, and I'm not trying to take the fun out of it. But you got to control it, or then it becomes like a fiasco, and then nobody wants to be part of it, and they all quit.
Well, an indie band is good because they write unique original music as opposed to.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Right, anything like that. I'm very open-minded. I'm very laid back, and I'm very liberal with these things. But some people that are very difficult think that you're being a hard case when you're not. Like James P. Madonna, he added a friend about 2 years ago, and the guy was into 50s music and early 60s music. The
doo-wop.
Yeah, and so he was doing it, boy. He was in, and then he started accelerating, pressing the gas, and then it was 3 and 4 and 5 posts, and I was telling him, hey, do 2 posts a day. And then he was like, well, I'm not gonna be part of this prison planet or something. I was like, no, it's not like that. You're not listening to anybody else's music. You never comment on anybody else's. It's your own private Idaho. You're in your own world, and you're saying, why don't people appreciate the Ventures from 1961? All they want to talk about is this. And you get the troublemakers that'll say, there ain't been no good music since 1962 anyway, and everything sucks, and it's like, well, no one made you join the group, but so you're trying to balance all that,
Social media.
Yeah,
exactly.
You get real dedicated people to all these dedicated.
Anybody can get behind a keyboard and start, blabbing off.
Right, and so I don't know. It's the only reason I started that group is because I was in another group that somebody added me to. People always add me to groups, and the guy was like totalitarian, and I made it as a response to that because his attitude was, I'm going to delete your song because I don't like the group. And I was like, what?
What group was it?
Why do you have to like the group? But then I noticed his whole tone was condescending toward the members, arrogant, berating people who like bands he didn't like.
Now, power trip.
A power trip. And
so
then
you wanted to start your own thing.
And to say, and his whole trip was, I'll show you, I'll kick you out the group. I've got that power. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be part of this megalomania, And so,
yeah.
So I was trying to be very moderate and posted. I had a group I was interested. I don't want to name the group, but I was interested in them, and I was posting a couple of songs a week. I don't like that group, and I was very restrained because I could have really told him things he needed to hear. But I said I'll just start my own group. That's all the good things that group isn't. You
might as well call your group. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. People are leaving.
What? Not me. So at first, I made my group something else. I called it like a kind of an angry name, like a totalitarian music club or something. I made it funny, you know. I had a guy with a gun and saying, "Here are the rules. You will not do this. You will not do that." I was doing it as a comedy, you know. But it's very mellow, and we've been doing it going on 4 years, and people have a lot of fun in it. It's just like Alcohol Eggs. We have a lot of fun in Alcohol Eggs. The troublemakers just don't exist there.
No, you don't see any problems there.
Never. You know,
Because you know what it is? It's just pictures. So, you know, how much trouble can pictures make? You know?
Hey, leave it up to the psychos. They'll find a reason.
Could be reviews, you know, like is Tom a member of Alcohol Leagues?
He was actually.
Oh, he got bullied to leave.
He was very active, actually. He was very active. But then he was alerted that I was the administrator, and so he was compelled to leave. Under duress, as we all, you know, but
he was posting a lot on Everything Is Food, but I hope he wasn't given, you know, ultimatums about everybody's group that he belonged to, because
I'll say this to the world: if you're in a Facebook group and they start telling you who your friends can be, you're not in a group, you're in a cult.
Yeah.
Who your Facebook friends can be?
A Facebook group is what you do because you have a common interest. A cult is what it is when people tell you who you can be friends with. See, that's a cult.
Yeah, sure.
I can send you videos about Jonestown.
That's what I was thinking. They tell you who you can have sex with and shit, right?
Right. No, literally, these things literally go on in social media where they tell you who you can be friends with. Now that's,
I know what happened at Jonestown and a few other places.
Right.
Some religions still have prearranged marriages where the parents tell you, you gotta marry this ugly bastard.
If you're a Hasidic Jew, they do still do that.
Right. So, folks, just an alert: if you're in a social media group and they're telling you who you can be friends with, I'm sorry, you're not in a group. You're in a cult. You might want to get out of a cult. I was in a group one time. I was in a group, not social media, but a literal club, like an organization that's been around since 1958. And I started saying to myself, because I like to think about things, I like to self-reflect. And I said, this is not an organization.
The Knights of Columbus?
It's a cult. No. I said, this is a cult. This is a cult. These people are crazy. They're crazy. And I wrote them a long letter telling them why I was quitting and that they were all crazy. And then they called me on the phone, and the guy said, well, I read your letter and I agree with a lot of it. Then he said, actually, I agree with all of it. And so I was thinking, well, maybe he got woke up. I'm not here to be in a cult, folks. So no, James P. Madonna's going to flip his wig when I tell him the name of it. But they're probably monitoring me right now.
Have to do with Festivus, which I love, or don't say it was about they're tarnishing the good name of Krampus. No, that wouldn't be good.
No, but I didn't like their vibe. Their vibe got me freaked out, you know. And I was like, they're not going to bother me. I'm running this show, you know, called My Life, and they're not gonna. And so it was actually the John Birch Society. But I was reluctant to say that name on the air because it's probably tagged where if I say it, it comes up and then they say.
That's interesting, Ron. I looked into the John Birch Society a little bit online. They had some good views that I kind of agreed with, but I heard that they're like kind of crazy.
Oh, like Heaven's Gate, martial
arts. I agreed with most of what they were talking about, but their practice. Well, I don't know. I don't want to go into all this. Is about flavored whiskey, but I started looking at them and talking to them, and I was like, something ain't kosher with this, you know. And
I could see why you were interested in it, though.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that'll speak my mind, you know. And I would tell them at meetings, I would say, well, I don't agree with that. And they'd say, well, that's our position. And I'd say, well, I don't care. You know, so, but they liked me because they were grooming me for like big things.
Hey, Ron, check this out. Ice House, the original.
Oh, bazam. That's my jam. That's my jam. I like that. Well, anyway.
I couldn't get this in New York, but I can get it down here.
Look. Oh, you can. We can get it here. 12 packs of bottles. Look, folks, here's the cut and dry of this. We can go on and on all night, and I'm missing a game, and I could lose electricity at any moment. Right wing, left wing, moderate. It doesn't matter.
Hot chicken.
There are cults all around. You know, James P. Madonna, you know they got left-wing cults. They try to control your thinking. You run into these people. You've gotten into conflicts with them.
Yeah, I got in conflicts. Well, lately it was over the militant style feminists who pretty much want their cake and eat it. And I told them on Twitter, I went on and on. I ranted, and they don't like to hear the truth. So they blocked me for a day on Twitter.
Real quick, so you were talking about the women's soccer team.
Well, it's not the existence of them. It's not that they won and they were happy. It's their attitude as soon as they came back and they went on CNN and they're all like hollering and going, "Hey, yo, we want more money."
Okay. So let me say. So I know that they're saying that they want to get paid the same amount as the men get paid.
And they were
the main thing with that is that the men's World Cup gets a lot more views and a lot more money from spectators. So they make a lot more money.
That's what I told them, Ronnie. I said
it's true though.
They put the bodies in the seats. The women's sports teams don't put the bodies.
They have fans and stuff, but just it's not on the same level.
No, they can't.
So the money isn't the same. They're not bringing in as much money. So how can they pay out those bonuses that they give the men? How can they give that money to the women?
It's just like with pro wrestling. If you hire one star to sell tickets, well, a lot of money goes to the star, but you can't be paying all the workers
the same amount as John Cena.
The same amount as the freaking as the wrestling star that you got booked.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
That's business.
That's the whole, and that comes back around to what I'm saying about these social media groups and political groups. A lot of them have cult-like behavior because they will not tolerate the divergence of thinking, or and they always have this like monolithic like mindset. And boy, if you violate it, you'll find out how open and free they are. Well, anyway, now they calling me on the phone. Well, I got to get off of here. Y'all can stay on and talk, but have a great Friday night.
All right, Ron. Careful with the weather, man.
Later.
Okay. James is going to close us out with a musical.
And
that's Fandango. That's Fandango. That's Fandango.
Fandango.